Imagine for a second, just really picture it, that your entire human life,
All of it, yeah.
right, the soul-crushing traffic jams, the massive career milestones, the heartbreaks that keep you up at night, all the unbelievable complexities of the human experience. What if all of that is just a basic entrance exam?
Like a fleeting, almost microscopic prerequisite course.
Exactly, because today we are exploring the universe-building curriculum that comes after graduation. Welcome to the deep dive. Our source material today is a truly fascinating presentation called Brahm Yatra Parmeshwar Chakra.
Which translates roughly to the journey of the Brahm Gyani, or the cycle of the Supreme Lord.
Yeah, and our mission for this deep dive is to essentially map out the ultimate cosmic roadmap of a soul's evolution. We're going to trace exactly what happens to a seeker of absolute truth the very second their mortal journey ends.
It is quite the journey, too.
Oh, it's wild. Okay, let's unpack this because the sheer scale of the timeline we're about to explore is going to completely break your standard concept of space, time, and, well, what it actually means to be alive.
It really requires a massive philosophical pivot right out of the gate. I mean, we are culturally conditioned to view death as a finality, right?
The hard stop.
Yeah, exactly, a hard stop. Or, at best, a transition to some static state of eternal rest where nothing much happens anymore.
Just floating on a cloud.
Right, playing a harp. But the Parmeshwar Chakra framework shatters that completely. Death in our mortal realm, which this text calls Mityudluk, isn't an ending. It is essentially the ringing of the bell for the start of the real academic year.
The human experience is just the prologue.
It's just the prologue to a profoundly dynamic, ongoing evolution of consciousness.
So let's look at the actual mechanics of this. We have a seeker, known as a sadhak. They've spent their entire life in Mrityulok down here with us successfully practicing the knowledge of Brahm, the ultimate reality.
Right.
The human body finally gives out, the exam is over, and the soul arrives in heaven, or Swarglok. But, my immediate question when reading this was, why couldn't they just finish their studies down here? Why is a human life treated like a fundamentally inadequate classroom?
That is a crucial point. And the text is very explicit about the biological and spiritual limitations of being human.
Okay.
According to this framework, full, absolute knowledge of Brahm is almost physically impossible to attain while you're trapped in a human body.
Wait, physically impossible?
Yeah. Our neurology, our lifespans, our physical forms, they are simply too frail and too limited to comprehend the infinite.
Oh, wow.
What's fascinating here is it's like trying to run a massive universe-simulating software program on a 1990s desktop computer. The hardware just cannot handle it.
It just crashes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, the text does carve out a tiny historical exception.
Right, I saw that.
Yeah, noting that in ancient mythological eras, specifically the Satya Yuga and Treta Yuga, a rare few could achieve it. But that was because humans back then supposedly possessed incredibly long lifespans and a much stronger Purush, or cosmic masculine element.
Which allowed them to endure the sheer energetic weight of that knowledge.
Right. But for us today, the human vessel will simply break before it learns the whole truth.
Which means, because we lack the RAM to process the universe down here, we get sent up there. So when this successful soul arrives in Swarglok, they are greeted by Indra, the king of the gods.
Yeah.
And I love the imagery here because Indra doesn't just hand them a harp and point them to a cloud like we were joking about. He respectfully escorts this soul directly to Brihaspati, the guru of the gods.
Very formal.
Right. If you're listening to this, think of it like getting accepted into the most exclusive, elite, cosmic grad school imaginable. You walk through the gates, and Indra is essentially the polite dean of admissions who walks you down the hall to introduce you to your new, highly demanding academic advisor.
The grad school analogy holds up perfectly, actually, because heaven, in this context, is strictly an advanced classroom.
Under Brihaspati's guidance.
Under Brihaspati, and surrounded by various categories of great sages. Sages like Devarshis, Maharshis, Brahmarshis, advanced beings. The text categorizes by their level of realization. The seeker is introduced to higher practices here.
So they're taking advanced cosmic courses.
Yeah. They are given access to cosmic knowledge that simply could not fit into the curriculum of Mrityulok. They are being prepped to scale up their consciousness, to manipulate the actual building blocks of reality.
But I mean, knowing the theory of the universe and actually building one are two very different things, right?
Very different.
When we talk about scaling up, we are leaving human proportions behind completely. The coursework requires the soul to actually embody celestial objects.
Yes.
The text says the practice begins through the dev medium, and the very first assignment is to become a sun.
A literal star.
Like, how does a single consciousness operate a star? We're talking about millions of degrees of nuclear fusion.
Well, this is where we have to merge physics with spirituality. Becoming a sun isn't just about, glowing in the dark. It is an active, excruciatingly difficult spiritual exercise in balance.
Balance of what?
But the text states the seeker must balance the base qualities of the universe, sattva, rajas, and tamas. If we translate those concepts roughly into harmony, passion, and inertia, we can actually map them onto stellar physics.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right. A star is a constant violent war between the passion and explosive outward energy of nuclear fusion and the massive crushing inertia of its own gravity.
The tamas.
Exactly. The soul operating the sun is actively meditating to maintain that exact equilibrium, the harmony or sattva. If they lose focus, the star either collapses or explodes.
Oh, wow.
They are learning to maintain stability on a solar scale.
That makes so much more sense than just assuming they sit there radiating light. It's an active job.
Very active.
But even a star isn't the foundation of a universe. You need anchor points. You need immense, unbreakable gravity to hold systems together.
Right.
So after they master being a sun, the source says they move to the Purush element and they have to condense their energy.
Yes, they merge that radiant dev element entirely into the Purush element, entering a state of absolute unfathomable density.
And this is the part that blew my mind.
It's incredible. The source text explicitly uses a concept to describe this stage that translates to what modern astrophysics calls a neutron star. The seeker compresses their entire massive consciousness into an impossibly small, dense point.
Wait, hold on. An ancient spiritual roadmap is talking about a stellar remnant, a neutron star. Here's where it gets really interesting, because in astrophysics, a neutron star is what happens when a massive star collapses under its own gravity until the protons and electrons melt into each other.
It's the densest object in the universe next to a black hole.
Exactly. You're saying this ancient text uses that exact level of density to explain a spiritual meditative state.
It uses that precise concept of physical density to represent spiritual fortitude. They aren't just visiting this state, they become it. And they have to hold that unimaginably dense, compressed state for over 14 manvantaras.
14 manvantaras. Let's contextualize that time frame for the listener.
Please do.
14 manvantaras is more than a kalpa. In this cosmic calendar, a kalpa is roughly 4.32 billion human years. So this soul sits as a hyperdense ball of spiritual gravity for billions of years. Talk about the ultimate test of patience.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it forces a complete reframing of how we look at the night sky.
How so?
Well, we are taught to view celestial bodies through a purely materialistic dead lens. As inert rocks, swirling gas giants, or burning spheres of plasma governed solely by blind physics.
Right, just matter doing its thing.
But this framework suggests the exact opposite. Those immense gravitational bodies are conscious, meditating beings.
That is heavy. Literally.
They are highly advanced souls enduring billions of years of silent austerity, holding the sheer crushing weight of physical existence together just to create a stable environment where lesser, microscopic souls like us can evolve.
But the universe isn't static, right? Eventually, those billions of years run out. What happens when the timer goes off on that 14 manvantara meditation? Does the universe just hand them a diploma?
Not exactly. The transition is terrifyingly violent on a physical level, but perfectly ordered on a spiritual one. When the manvantara ends, the text states that Brahma folds up creation.
Folds it up.
Yeah. The physical universe, as it was known, is essentially packed away.
Yeah.
During this void period, the soul rests within the creator essence of Brahma.
Okay, so they get a break.
A brief one. Then, the physical universe violently restarts, typically characterized in the text by massive galactic collisions. When the dust settles, the soul is brought back out to continue its practice. But now its consciousness is tailored to the qualities of the new cosmic cycle.
And if they successfully navigate those cosmic restarts over a couple of kalpas, over several billions of years of being a hyperdense star, they finally get a promotion.
A big promotion.
They transition into becoming an Earth for an entire manvantara. And the source text does not mince words here.
No, it doesn't.
It explicitly states that the soul currently operating our very own Earth, the exact physical realm where we are sitting, breathing, and living right now is one of these highly advanced seekers in the middle of their curriculum.
It is a staggering philosophical concept. The ground beneath our feet is not dead matter. It is a sentient, highly evolved Brahm Gyani.
Wow.
The Earth is actively meditating to hold the delicate balance of tectonic plates, atmospheric pressure, ocean currents, life, and death. It is consciously maintaining the exact necessary conditions for all of us junior students to stumble our way through our little human entrance exams.
It kind of makes you want to apologize to the ground every time you pave a parking lot.
Yeah, definitely.
But incredibly, being a life-bearing planet still isn't the final goal. Having mastered physical reality, having literally been the ground of existence, the soul has to learn to transcend physical forms entirely.
That's the next phase.
We are moving out of the realm of solar systems and stepping into the formless voids that connect them.
This represents a massive paradigm shift in the soul's journey. At the end, or the beginning, of these massive Manvantara cycles, multiple Earths are said to collide.
Right.
The souls that were animating these Earths, which the text categorizes at this stage as Vishnu Tattva souls, meaning they carry the sustaining essence of the universe, they merge together.
They fuse into one.
Exactly. They fuse into a single, unified, foundational consciousness to prepare the ground for cosmic rituals, or yagya.
And while our seeker's soul is merging, other advanced sages who have been at this for eons are out in the void, physically forming entire constellations known as nakshatras and constructing new heavenly realms.
They're building the new architecture.
Yeah, but for our specific seeker, the practice requires them to leave the physical machinery of the galaxy behind. They shift from the Sagun realm, meaning the physical realm with tangible properties, into a higher dimension called Maharlok. And here, the practice becomes Nirgun, meaning entirely formless.
The shift from Sagan to Nirgun is arguably the most critical pivot in this entire cosmic roadmap.
Why is that?
Think about their journey so far. When they were a sun, a neutron star, or an Earth, they were acting within a galaxy. They were vital cogs in the physical machine, subject to the laws of mass and gravity.
Right, they had a physical body, even if it was made of rock or plasma.
Exactly. In Maharlok, the seeker steps completely outside of the physical universe. They shed the hardware entirely. The text describes their new practice as pouring offerings, or ahuti, into multiple galaxies from the outside.
Okay, if you're listening and trying to visualize a formless soul feeding a physical galaxy from the outside, think about a massive, complex video game simulation.
Okay, I like this.
When you are inside the game as a character, you are bound by its gravity and its rules. That was the soul when it was on Earth. But moving to Maharlok is like the soul stepping out of the simulation, sitting at the developer's terminal in the server room, and directly injecting new code, new physics engines, or new variables into the simulation from the outside.
That's a great way to put it.
They are feeding the system without being trapped inside it.
That analogy captures the mechanics perfectly. They are providing the underlying energetic sustenance that allows the physical galaxies to keep spinning. And the source text gives us a brilliant, deeply symbolic image to understand the structure of this multidimensional server room.
The shivling.
Yes, the shivling. It vividly describes it as an inverted cosmic tree holding all the galaxies together.
An upside-down cosmic oak tree.
Right.
Let's trace the anatomy of this thing because it maps out how energy flows from the absolute top down to our physical reality. The roots of this inverted tree are at the very highest point, drawing power directly from the ultimate divine source.
Which the text calls Golok.
Golok, yeah, the realm of Krishna, which the text describes as the perfect, synchronized coordination of the three primary cosmic forces: Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the sustainer, and Shiv, the destroyer.
And those roots draw down that raw, absolute divine energy and feed it into the trunk of the tree. The trunk acts as the main conduit, bridging the divine and the physical.
And the trunk has sections, right?
It consists of three distinct descending realms: Tapalok, Janalok, and finally Maharlok, which is where our formless seeker is currently stationed. As the energy flows down this massive trunk, it splits outward into branches and leaves.
And this is the part that completely breaks your sense of scale. Those leaves.
Yeah.
Every single individual galaxy in our entire universe is just one single leaf hanging off a branch of this massive inverted cosmic tree. The Milky Way, Andromeda, all of them just leaves fluttering in the cosmic wind.
It radically shrinks our physical universe while expanding the spiritual one.
Seriously.
The seeker in Maharlok is learning to connect with the trunk of this structure. Through intense meditation and austerity, what the text calls tap-cap, they learn to draw energy and rise upward through the trunk. They're observing the leaves, the billions of galaxies, from a higher vantage point, providing that ahuti or nourishment to them.
But observation isn't the end of the curriculum. You don't just watch the leaves. To truly understand the structure, you have to become one. The soul moves further up the trunk, ascending from Maharlik into Janalok. It's here that they receive direct, unadulterated knowledge from the sons of Brahma.
The ultimate download.
Yeah, exactly. Once they have completely absorbed that knowledge, they move into Topalok. This ascent marks the final stage of their very first massive cosmic cycle.
And this is where a profound transformation occurs. Through their deep connection with the Shivling, the literal essence of Brahma enters the seeker.
And what happens then?
With this massive influx of creator energy, the soul transitions from being formless back into a physical structure, but on a scale that dwarfs anything they've done before. The soul becomes an entire galaxy. It literally becomes a leaf on the tree.
If you're struggling to imagine how one single soul can become a swirling structure of 100 billion stars, look at your own body. You are one single consciousness, but your physical form is made up of trillions of individual living cells all working together, dying and regenerating to keep you alive. This text is asking you to scale that exact same biological concept up to a cosmic level. The soul is the consciousness, and the billions of stars, black holes, and planets are its cells.
That fractal nature of reality is exactly what the text is pointing to.
Yeah.
And just like cells in a body, these galaxies are not static. The text notes that galaxies eventually collide.
Which happens in our universe.
Constantly. When they do, the massive souls animating them merge their consciousnesses to form entirely new, more complex galaxies with brand new elements and properties. It is an endless, brutal, and beautiful dance of creation and merging in the dark.
But the journey isn't actually endless.
Wow.
There is a final graduation day. And this final step, according to the text, takes many, many kalpas to achieve. We are talking hundreds of billions of years of being a galaxy. To achieve final liberation, to completely free themselves from the Parmeshwar Chakra, this endless cycle of the Supreme Lord, the Seeker, has to accomplish one last task.
The ultimate test.
They must completely, utterly conquer their anger. And I mean, I have to push back on this because it sounds almost absurd at first glance.
I get that.
You have a soul that successfully managed the nuclear fusion of a sun, sat as a hyperdense neutron star for eons, served as the life-giving ground for an entire Earth, transcended physical form, fed galaxies from outside the universe, and then literally became a galaxy of 100 billion stars. And the final boss is anger.
It does sound a bit weird.
Why is road rage the ultimate hurdle after billions of years of cosmic meditation? Like, how does a galaxy even get angry?
Well, this raises an important question because it sounds absurd until we examine what anger fundamentally is at a spiritual and mechanical level.
Okay, unpack that.
We define anger as an emotional outburst, losing our temper when someone cuts us off in traffic. But in the context of this cosmic roadmap, anger is the ultimate final manifestation of separation. It is the absolute last shred of the ego.
Wait, ego? How does a sprawling galaxy have an ego?
Ego, in this philosophical framework, is simply the persistent illusion that I am separate from the rest of existence.
Okay.
When an entity, even one as massive and ancient as a galaxy, experiences friction, like colliding with another galaxy or experiencing a deviation from its perceived internal order, the internal resistance to that universal flow is anger.
The friction itself?
Yes, anger is the assertion of the self against the whole. Conquering anger at a galactic level doesn't mean taking deep breaths to calm down. It means completely and utterly dissolving the boundary between the self and the absolute.
Oh, wow.
It is the profound realization that there's nothing to be angry at, because everything, the colliding galaxy and yourself, are exactly the same thing.
So anger is just the friction of believing you were separate.
Is that
Once that microscopic final sliver of cosmic ego is defeated, the boundary dissolves. The soul reaches Satyalok. They attain Purna Brahm, the absolute truth. They are finally completely freed from the cosmic cycle.
Precisely. They graduate. They are no longer a sun maintaining gravity and earth hosting life, a formless watcher in the void, or a galaxy swirling in space. They merge entirely with the absolute source. They become the truth itself.
Let's just take a breath and quickly recap this unbelievable timeline we just walked through.
That's a lot.
It is. You start as a flawed, overwhelmed human taking a basic entrance exam. You pass, your body dies, you go to heaven, and you get the guru of the gods as your new academic advisor.
What?
You practice holding the universe's base qualities of harmony and inertia by becoming a literal sun. You condense your consciousness into a neutron star for billions of years to learn the spiritual weight of density.
And the promote.
Right. You get promoted to an Earth, hosting life and maintaining biological balance for an entire epoch. You transcend physical form entirely, climb the trunk of an inverted cosmic tree into Maharlok, and inject energy into the physical universe from the server room.
Perfect analogy.
You receive creator energy, become an actual galaxy, merging and colliding with others over billions of years. And finally, you defeat the ultimate boss of cosmic ego, the illusion of separation we call anger, to reach ultimate liberation in Satyalok.
When you lay it all out sequentially like that, it highlights the staggering architectural scale of the Parmeshwar Chakra. It takes the things we consider the absolute limits of our reality stars, planets, the entirety of space, and demotes them to mere stepping stones in a single soul's education.
It completely rewires your perspective.
Yeah.
So to you listening to this deep dive right now, the next time you step outside at night and look up at the stars, or even if you just look down at the dirt beneath your shoes, well, remember this roadmap.
Yeah, remember this scale.
According to this ancient text, those aren't just balls of burning gas in a dead void. That dirt isn't just inert, lifeless rock. You are looking at ancient, majestic souls right in the middle of a billion-year spiritual internship.
It demands a profound sense of reverence for the physical world around us. The universe isn't just a container we happen to live inside. It is a living, breathing community of evolving consciousness, operating on timelines that our human brains are barely equipped to imagine.
It really is. And I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over today, something that builds on everything we just discussed. If this text is right, if our very own Earth is actually a highly advanced ancient soul meditating in the dark, practicing its cosmic curriculum so that one day it can graduate and become a swirling galaxy, what does that make us?
A very good question.
As we scurry around down here on its surface, stressing about our jobs, fighting traffic, living our fleeting little entrance exam lives, are human beings just the biological thoughts of the Earth? Are our lives just the fleeting dreams of a giant planetary being as it meditates its way toward the absolute truth? Think about that the next time you feel overwhelmed by your daily routine. Until next time, keep looking up.